Guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another Truth Bump. We are getting going with a new topic for this Truth Bump. It is reflections. And now, before we get into reflections, I want to let you know that really this last four Truth Bumps have been intentional. In the last four Truth Bumps, you've been getting lots of little practices, tools, or techniques, if you like, that can support you as you continue the journey in the further Truth Bumps. As we go deeper into the Truth Bumps, they're going to get more deeper. They're going to get more insightful, but that you really want to make sure you've integrated these tools. And so this last four Truth Bumps has been imperative for you to really grasp. If you feel like you need to re-listen to it, please do so before we go into the next Truth Bump. The next Truth Bump is actually going to be another tool that I actually share with people. It's something that I actually teach them in doing at my retreats, but I'm going to be sharing it with you so you can use that tool to support you as you go deeper in the Truth Bumps. And it's about pondering. You probably heard me talk about that in a lot of if you've been following me on socials and things, I talk about pondering. And pondering is it is a meditative state, but you're not in meditation. So I'll leave that for now. That's where I'm going to pick up in the next session. In the next session, I'll be giving you the fifth and final tool, and then we get into actually doing the work. And that's where you start to empty the cup, as you like, as I like to call it, emptying the cup. Well, I didn't get that from myself. That's from the Bruce Lee himself. He talked about emptying the cup. So the work that you're going to do on yourself really gets going in the next month of the Truth Bumps. So let's get going in this conversation about reflections. And this is, I guess this, if you could almost put it as part 3 of reclaiming power. If you wanted to put reclaiming power into 3 parts, you would do the part 1, reclaiming power, part 2, which is what we did last session, which is acceptance. You could almost say this is a part 3, although I haven't called it a part 3. But what I'm trying to say that is it's really interconnected with the last couple of sessions. So reflections. Now, we'll start at the basic level here in what I'm going to talk to you about, and then we'll go deeper in the recording. But at some point later in the Truth Bumps, maybe a few months down the track, I will revisit reflections at some point, and we will pick it up at a much deeper level once you've commenced doing the work on yourself and gone through many Truth Bumps. So at this point, the basic level of reflections, our understanding, most people's understanding at this level is that, well, the world is a reflection of us. And, it's like, we can comprehend that, we can understand that the world is a reflection of us, but our application of that is very minimal. And really, the application is always minimal because the knowing or the integration of your understanding is minimal. So, when it comes to truly living what you know to be true, what you know is in your heart, your ability to live that is proportion to your ability to integrate it, your ability to have a direct experience of it. So my intention is to support you through these Truth Bumps to integrate it, because as it integrates, you'll find that it becomes effortless in your application. Now, why do I say the idea of reflections, the application is minimal? Well, if you think about it, we talk about that the external world is our reality, and the external world is our reflection, I should say, of our reality. The external world is reflecting ourselves. If you think about it, if you and I are sitting down right now and having a coffee, right? And this is the metaphor we like to use, is that when you're having a coffee and you sip away and then you leave a little bit of foam from your cappuccino on your top lip, and I say, hey, you've got some foam on your mouth, right? What most people do is they will look into the mirror and begin to wipe the mirror clean. That's where we lack in the application. We understand that the world outside of us is a reflection of us, but we continue to wipe the mirror clean rather than look at ourselves and actually get a serviette and wipe your lip clean. So that's what I mean by the application is minimal. That shows that the understanding that the external world is a reflection of us. And hey, maybe that's the first time you've actually even heard that. So you're like, well, I've never even heard that. But most people have come across that statement that your external world is a reflection of you. That's why you continue to see things follow you. It's the same relationship. It's the same financial circumstances. It's the same health issues. Or it's not always issues. It could be, something amazing. The same amazing relationship, right? So it's both things that we label good and bad, right? But most of us, we tend to look at the negative or the bad things that we've labeled as bad in reflection. So, but at this point, I would like to start that, you really need to own your reflection. Whether it's something that you have labeled as good and bad, because in truth, it's not good or bad. It's not positive or negative. And even if it is, it's according to a perception, according to your perception or according to someone else's perception. All right. But I just want to, I'll give you an example of what I'm trying to say. Reference points are always good. Often when I get up on stage, I've said this, where I've said to the audience, look, I'm going to share things with you and you will be having moments of inspiration and you will feel a lot of love, you will feel joy, and there's going to be potentially moments for some of you, and if not all of you, where you might feel a reaction. You might feel angry towards what I say, or you might feel, just a negative reaction towards what I say. You might suddenly feel closed off to what I say. So the thing is that whatever you feel, I want you to own it. This is what I'm telling my audience when I'm speaking on stage. I want you to own it. By owning it, I mean that if you feel love and you feel inspired, I want you to own that because you have that. The fact that you feel the love or inspiration, in your mind, you're going, it's because of what you said. No, it's because you have love and that inspiration. Sure, I might have said something that would have triggered the love and inspiration, but you got to own it. It's your love. It's your inspiration. And you got to not give your power away and say, it's because of you, Amir. You made me feel that love and inspiration. No, own it. You feel that love and inspiration because you have it. Yes, I might have triggered that love and inspiration, but you feel it because you have it. So I just want you to own it. So when you feel that love and inspiration, own it. Don't say it's because of Amir. Because when you're saying it's because of, what are we doing? If you go back to a couple of truth bumps ago, you're giving power away to Amir. You're giving power away to something other outside of you. Okay? So I actually share this. Now, I share the other side of this, which is also, if you have a reaction to what I'm saying and you're feeling angry or you have a negative emotion, that pops up, it's also the same. Own it. It's not because of me. Yes, I may have triggered that. But if, for example, you're feeling angry, the anger was already there. All I've done is triggered it. Okay? And what you don't want to do is then go and judge me or blame me. Blame me or give credit. Because again, what part of us is doing that? Whenever we're giving credit to something or blaming something, we are giving our power away to the very thing we are giving credit to or blaming. So, I actually teach people when I'm sharing, because some of the things that I share is going to take people on a journey. They're going to feel love, inspiration, and the things that they're triggered is things that they have buried within themselves. And if they're open to actually feel that and embrace that, which is reclaiming power, and accept that, instead of blaming the very thing or blaming the very thing that caused them to be triggered by that. So I hope that makes sense. Right there, what I'm talking about is a reflection. Okay, and I guess I'd like to share, to start this reflection truth bump off with, is just own it. Own it. Whether it's something amazing, own it. You're amazing, right? Or you're angry, own it. You're angry. Okay? Because by going and pointing your finger at the very thing that caused you, or let me say caused you, triggered you to feel the anger that you feel within yourself, is the same as you going and trying to wipe the mirror clean and going, why is the coffee stain on my top lip not coming off when I'm wiping this mirror clean? Or I'm wiping my reflection in this mirror clean. You see? So that's what I mean by the application. And most people, when they have any kind of reaction, and when it's a reaction, because you're pointing your finger to something, whether it's something you're giving credit to or something that you're blaming. That's when it's a reaction. And when the moment you point your finger to whatever it is that you're reacting, you not only are you giving power to that, you're then trying to control that. And by trying to control that, I mean you're trying to fix, improve, change, get rid of, or keep. Whether it's something that made you feel amazing, it's almost like I need to control that. I need to keep that. Okay? So the world will continue to reflect parts of yourself. And this is where we come to understand that things are not happening to you. Things are happening for you. Whether it's a person who is reflecting something or it's a circumstance that you're experiencing, it's happening for you, not to you. Again, if it's happening to you, you're blaming the reflection. You're blaming what is being played out in the mirror. And you're all crediting, blame or credit, and you are trying to wipe the mirror clean rather than look at yourself. Okay? So at this point, I want to elaborate when I say that things are happening for you, not to you. Why are they happening for you? For you to embrace exactly what is, the circumstance or the person that's in your life is causing you to feel. And when you're embracing that, which is acceptance, okay? And by the way, just to go back into acceptance here, how do you embrace an emotion, or how do you embrace a reflection, an emotion that is caused by a reflection? You allow it to be. You give it space. And by giving it space, it's allow it to be. How do we give space? Remember, space is your power. Space is power. Infinite space is love that we've been referring to so often in these truth bumps. You know, when something is taking space from you, you want to give it space. So when there is a person playing a role in your life, because that's what happens when things are happening for you, it's either an individual in your life or people in your life playing a role, or it's a circumstance, it's a story that's unfolding that's allowing you to feel an emotion that requires to be released or for you to become one with. Because again, remember, acceptance is becoming one with something. Okay, acceptance is when you become one. The reason we dive into those emotions, just revisiting reclaiming power, I told you they're very close, these two topics. When you are reclaiming power, you are allowing yourself to feel that emotion completely until you become one with it. This is what I spoke to you about in reclaiming power and in acceptance. Now, what are you becoming one with? A part of yourself that you saw as separate. So if I can give you this metaphor, it's like having a mirror and you shatter this mirror. Imagine a shattered mirror. You're looking into this mirror and it's just shattered. It's just shattered. It's got cracks all throughout it. And when you look into this mirror, you see one piece of yourself, not the whole self. Your eye is over here, your nose is over there, and your ear is over there. They're not all together or together. So when you see a piece of yourself, and in reclaiming power, that reflection is just showing one piece. It's just let's just say it's showing you your eye. When you become one with that emotion, again going back to reclaiming power, the mirror begins to mend. The cracks begin to disappear. As you continue to do your journey, as you continue to take your journey, the cracks begin to mend and you start to see one image, one feeling, one energy. Life is happening for you in order for you to mend the cracks, in order for you to realize who you are, in order for you to be one, in order for you to be an infinite being in a finite world. You are mending the cracks. The cracks within the mirror are disappearing. So people will play a role, and when they play that role, it causes you to feel an emotion, which you may label as good or bad. But the first thing you want to do is own the emotions that you feel. Whether you've labeled it as good or bad, that's not the point here. I just want you to own it. Own it means that you're not pointing your finger to what triggered that emotion. And when we point our finger to what's triggered that emotion, we go into the mode of trying to fix, improve, change, or get rid of, or keep the very thing that we are pointing our finger to. And that is the same as looking in the mirror and wiping the mirror clean and wondering why my life isn't changing and why this story continues to happen to me. Why do I have these same relationship problems? Why do I keep this reoccurring financial issues? Okay? It's because we continuously bring our attention into the story and we want to fix the story that is causing us to feel the emotions that is ours. But rather than owning those emotions, we're like, no, this is not my emotions. I'm not angry. I'm not insecure. I'm not, whatever it is that you're feeling. It's that person or it's my circumstances that has caused me to feel those emotions. And what we're doing there, we have the same pattern, but we change the form of it. We get fixated on changing, fixing, improving, or changing, but we never change the pattern until we look at ourselves, until we realize, oh, I need to wipe the froth, the foam from the cappuccino off my lips here, not off the reflection. And in order for you to do that, you must be able to allow yourself to feel the emotion. Well, number one is to own it. Is not to point the finger, not to blame or give credit. The moment you're blaming what's caused you to feel that emotion, you're wiping the mirror. The moment you're giving credit to it, you're also wiping. You're not owning the inspiration. You're not owning the creativity. It's like, it's like, what you continue to do is that you think that you're bending. I like to call it, you're bending around the story. In other words, this happened because I did this in the story. No. The story bent around you because you own that. You have that love, right? So whether it's, this love or inspiration, again, go back to what I just shared with you at the very beginning of, when I go up on stage and I get people to own it. You feel that because you have it. Whether it's love, inspiration, or anger, you have that. That resides in you. Have you noticed that sometimes you may be out with a friend and let's say you're driving a car and somebody cuts in front of you and maybe your friend got really angry and they weren't even driving the car and they had a reaction. But for you, it's just like, I didn't have that reaction. Maybe they're in a rush or something. We don't know what's going on in their life. And you justify it, but you don't have the same reaction. And you think to yourself, what's the big deal? They cut us. See, sometimes someone feels angry and they go, well, of course I'm angry. Look at what they did. But not everyone gets angry. Right, and I know it's different things that make people, angry or whatever their emotion is. But again, my point that I'm trying to deliver here is that you're feeling those emotions because you have those emotions. And yes, you might have collected it when you were 3 years old, 7 years old, or whatever that happened in your story. Those emotions will stay there, and the story and life will continue to give you opportunities for you to feel those emotions. And when you actually own those emotions, you're mending the mirror. When you point your finger to what causes you to feel those emotions, what you're doing is making the crack more defined in the mirror. It's like you're reinforcing the duality rather than the oneness. So, yes, it's happening for you. Life is happening for you, and it's happening for you in order for you to get the opportunity to realize who you are. Probably the other thing that I'd like to add to this is who would play the greatest role in your life in order for you to see your own reflection. And I feel that it is our family. It is, the family, if you have a friend, especially if you just met a friend and you've had a friendship for 1 month and you really like them, I really like this guy or girl. We really connected. And you just met this person, and within a month, you're like, they're almost my best friend. But within a month, they did something that they broke all the boundaries of a friendship, right? And you think to yourself, oh, they're not the person that I thought they were. And, you don't have to live with that. You can just go, oh, they're not my friend anymore. You move on. But you see, family is very different. When it comes to family, you can't just get rid of them easily, right? Some of you are like, oh, I've got different members in my family. I can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of them easily. And the closer the family, especially if it's a child, right? You can't just get rid of them. Right? So family play the greatest role in order for us to see ourselves. So the things that we are just not willing to see that within ourselves, right? The family that, fortunately or unfortunately, it's the family that gets to play that role, because you can't just unlove them. You can't unlove a family member. You can't unlove your child. Now, in case you're thinking, well, I can if I really wanted to. It depends what they did. I can unlove them. But the fact that you're saying you can unlove them implies that you actually decided to love them in the first place. And if it's unconditional love, you didn't even decide to love them. You realized that you love them. So you can't undo that. Right? It doesn't matter what they've done, right? In particular, a child I'm talking about, right? That relationship, that's why children play the greatest role to show their parents their own disowned parts. The parts of themselves, the crack is so deep that you haven't been able to embrace that part of yourselves yet. You see? So family play the greatest role to reflect the part of ourselves that we still disown. It's not like the friendship you made that was 30 days old. It's a lifetime. You can't just get rid of them. Especially the child, if you have children, they play the role to show you the parts of yourself that you still disown, that you haven't owned yet. And again, when they do, instead of pointing the finger, all right, blaming or crediting, right, the idea is for you to embrace the emotions of how it caused you to feel. Because ultimately, the reflection is not what someone does. It's not the circumstances that you're experiencing. The reflection is how it causes you to feel. Like maybe you see someone who's murdered something horrific, and you think to yourself, well, that's not a reflection of me because I've never done that and I would never do that. But it's not what they've done that is your reflection. It's how it's caused you to feel. Maybe it caused you to feel angry. Keep talking about angry. Maybe it caused you to feel scared. Maybe it causes you to feel unsafe. It causes you to feel insecure. Whatever it causes you to feel, if you peel the layers of the onion back and go to the core feeling, that's the reflection. That person or those circumstances are forming in order for you to feel the reflection for yourself, which is in the emotion. It's all about the feeling. So the idea is not to go, oh, this person did this and that's not my reflection, right? It's for you to go, how does it cause me to feel? And allow yourself to, and remember, you give space to the feeling. Just how do you feel? Well, I feel unloved. Okay, give space to the feeling. So the first thing you want to do is give space to the feeling, which is allow it to be there. Because the normal reaction is, oh, I feel unloved. And you look to do something, to grab onto someone or to something in order for yourself to not feel unloved. You look to fix, improve, or change, get rid of something or hold on to something in order for you not to feel loved. No, first go, I feel unloved. Give that feeling of being unloved space. What space? Love. You're giving it love. And you know you're giving it love, you know you're giving it space because you're allowing that emotion to be there. That's the first thing you want to do, is let that emotion be there. That is already mending your mirror. That is already changing the roles that people will play in your life or the circumstances that you keep manifesting. Because once you no longer have that emotion that is residing in you, and once you've mended the reflection, the mirror, no one needs to play that role for you anymore. And even for some sake, they still need to play the role. You no longer have the reaction to that anymore. But from my experience, when you get what you need to get, when you feel what you need to feel, the person that was causing you to feel that no longer plays that role. And you begin to see things differently. You start to feel differently towards that person that played that role. It's like it wasn't even that person. They just played a role. I mean, when I say it wasn't that person, it might sound a little bit woo-woo. If you think about the trees, if you're sitting there on a windy day and you're watching the trees being blown by the wind and watching these trees swaying left to right, do the trees move by themselves? No, it's the wind that blows the trees. Do the people in your life move on their own? No, it's the feeling that moves the people. We are all different waves of the same ocean. So one of the most powerful, if you go back to reclaiming power, it's a lot about embracing the feeling, embracing the emotions, I should say, but ultimately it's being able to place your attention on the truth. You embrace the emotions in order for you to be able to place your attention on the truth. And in this case, when it comes to reflections, the way I place my attention on the truth is I ask myself, who's moving that person? Because at first it's like, it's my brother or sister, and sometimes I'm coaching my clients and I'm like, but who are they? Oh, it's my mother. No, but who's your mother really? She's energy. Yeah, but who's the energy? You see, that's the way, that's the path, that's the questions that I ask to be able to place your attention on the truth. Now, if you're too strung up in the emotions, you're just going to be like, it's going to be intellectual. It's just intellectual. Okay? But if you actually allow yourself to feel the emotions and go, who's that playing that role? You realize that it's the ocean. It's one energy. And people go, it's me. Yes, but you as who? You as this identity, or you as love, as infinite love? It's me as infinite love. When you see that, and when that drops in for you, you only feel love for the person that was playing a role that was causing you some kind of discomfort. You no longer think to yourself, they stole money from me. They did this. You only see love. Now, I know if you're intellectually listening to this, you're like, I don't believe that. Because you're not seeing, you're seeing the you, when your view of your world is coming from the identity, then what you see is their identity. In other words, when you perceive yourself as the drop, then all you see is not the ocean. You see all the other drops. Your view begins to change as the reflection begins to mend. We are one ocean. We are different waves of that same ocean. A wave does not move without the ocean moving. The trees do not move on their own. It's the wind that moves the trees. You can't see the wind with his eyes, but you see the trees move. It's the same. We can't see the energy that moves the people, that manifests the circumstances, the opportunities in our life. But you can feel it. You can feel, you see them moving, but you feel the energy. But you can only feel the energy when you are connecting to your energy and seeing it from that place. In other words, you being the ocean, seeing from the ocean. Your view changes. You're not looking at the identity. So, a couple of things to highlight. I know as we go deeper in the truth bumps, I did say we're going to go deeper. This is probably a pretty deep conversation to have about reflections. We started to talk about the foam on our lips from the cappuccino. Most people will comprehend that and go, yeah, I get that, you know. But most people can't apply that because of the application. When they're giving credit or giving blame to something, they're fixated on the story, and they begin to fix, improve, or change the story. So then you begin to bring your attention back to yourself and go, oh, that's right. This is about me. And it's not what they've done or what they're doing or what they're taking or whatever it is that you're experiencing, whatever emotion. It's happening for me. Why is it happening for me? For me to feel the emotions that I'm feeling. Why? So I can empty it. So I can become one with it. So I can complete myself, which will change my reflection. It will mend the cracks that I am seeing at the moment. I'm not seeing myself as a whole. I'm seeing myself as little parts of this, mirror. Just a crack here, a crack there, and I see a little part of myself. And I'm always limited to seeing or experiencing just a little part of myself, just a drop. Until you become whole with that drop. Until you become whole with the other drop, and so on. And the mirror begins to mend, the cracks begin to disappear, and you see the real you. You see one. Again, how do you see? You feel it. You feel it in you. You feel it in the other. It's not them that moves them. It's the feeling. Just like when you so-called decided to truly love unconditionally someone, you didn't decide. The feeling was there and you realized it. Then the story continues. Things were happening for you. They cause you to feel emotion, but then you don't understand, well, why is that? How is that my reflection? That's not my reflection. Go back. How does it make you feel? Oh, I felt unloved. But that's not my reflection because I'm so loving. How does it make you feel? I feel unloved. That's your reflection. That's where you start from. Again, what people then do is they can't apply because they then go and try to fix, improve, or change something to stop making you feel unloved. No, you feel unloved because you are. Because there's a part of you that's holding on to a piece somewhere in your history, somewhere in your story. You feel unloved. So that person, those circumstances played a role in order for you to feel unloved. Now stop trying to fix, improve, or change that feeling so you can feel loved. Stop trying to get love from outside so you don't have to feel unloved. Now feel. Give it space. Allow yourself, allow it to be. The very emotion of I feel unloved, allow that to be there. That's the first step, because that will take you away from trying to fix, improve, or change whatever was causing you to feel unloved. Because it's not really causing you to feel unloved, is it? It's just triggering you to feel the unloved that you already have within yourself. Now feel. Feel the unloved. That is mending. Go deep into that. Allow it to be space. You're giving space to the unloved. Okay? If you go deep enough to that, you become one. One. Once you become one, there is only love. Then the story changes. The reflection changes. And even whatever caused you harm or caused you to feel unloved, you don't even see them anymore. Who are they really? They're just a tree that's getting blown. They're just a wave from a different wave from the same ocean. And they were just playing a role. Who are they really? One. One infinite energy. So, to me, that is reflection. I've helped many people through the, understanding and realizations of that. Probably, I would definitely recommend that you listen to this at least twice. But I've just tried to recapture what I've said in the first half an hour and just recaptured it for you. Sometimes when it comes to telling people the truth or sharing truth bumps, you need to tell them what you're going to tell them. So today we're going to talk about reflections. Then you tell them about reflections, and this is what it is. Reflections is this, that, and that. Then you tell them what you just told them. So you kind of tell them 3 times. I don't know if you noticed, but that's what we did today. I told you about reflections. This is what we're going to talk about. Then we went deep into having a conversation about reflections. Then I told you about and recaptured, well, this is what it is. So then I encourage you and invite you to go back and listen to it again. Until you get to the point of just, at will being able to go, it's not really my sister. It's me as one. Me as the one energy. Me as the ocean, playing a role for me to feel exactly what I haven't become one yet. A part of myself that I've disowned, that has caused a crack in the reflection. And that story will continue. Even if I fix, improve, or change that story, the pattern won't change. The form of the story will change. For example, if you're feeling insecure, let's say in your relationship, and you fix, improve, or change your relationship without allowing yourself to feel the insecurity that you feel within the relationship, in other words, you get a new relationship or maybe a partner, whatever the story happens, right? That's not important. Story changes. Usually it doesn't, but let's just say you're a really good manifester, right? And you now change your story. And now you don't feel insecure in your relationship because your relationship changed. Then suddenly you start to feel a little insecure around your finances. You see, it's a different story, but the pattern doesn't change, the pattern of insecurity. And something happens in your financial world, and financially you start to feel insecure. It's the same pattern. Then you fix, improve, or change your finances. Then you feel insecure around your health. Oh, I'm getting a little bit overweight. Oh, I'm getting bald. Oh, I'm getting extra bumps and lumps. I've got a sickness. I've got a disease. Should I go on? I find that most people can't change an entire area of the life. Because usually if you're having issues around relationship, the issues stay in the relationship because that's when you're really going to get it. But some of you are just masterful at your manifestation, and you fixed, improve, or change your relationship. But the very thing that you're feeling in your relationship, if you didn't realize that within yourself, allow yourself to feel that, and that's the way in, it just comes up in a different form. You can't change the pattern. You might be able to change the story. If you're masterful, you might be able to change the story, but you can't change the pattern. You can only transcend it. You can only rise above it. And the only way to rise above it is through it. The only way to transcend it is through it. So, an interesting conversation. You can see why I will continue this conversation on reflections further down once we've done a little bit of working on yourself, if you like, as we go deeper into the truth bumps. At some point, I will come back and talk about roles and reflections and have a further conversation around that. But for now, I'd recommend listening to it one more time before you go on to the next truth bump. So next truth bump, I am going to give you one of the skills, one of the tools that I've shared with so many people that has truly helped them, because it's called pondering, as I said at the beginning, because if I can share with you how to ponder, you can now take what I just shared with you in this conversation and not have to necessarily re-listen to the content, but walk away and sit and ponder on it for yourself and have your own realizations of what's been said. And you use what I said just as signposts, and it just ignites and triggers different feelings and emotions. Then you go and do your own pondering on it. So I'm going to cover that with you in our very next session, the art of pondering. So for now, listen to this again, and I'll see you guys in the next Truth Bump. Hey guys, well done. You've just completed this video. How do you feel? I'm just here just to remind you that in order for me to continue to support you, it's important for you to continue to support this work. Please like this video and also press subscribe, and remember to press the bell icon as well so you get notified every single time I release a video. I'm going to be releasing so much content here that's going to support you. If you're looking for something even more, like you're looking for a community to be part of, some extra support, some extra coaching, you're looking to share your journey with other people, then go ahead and visit my website at amirzoghi.com, and there'll be some information there on how you can be more involved. Also, I read all the comments. I'd love to hear your experience. I want to release these videos for you. I want to support you. I love to see how it's landing for you. What's your experience of the videos? Do you have any questions? So remember to comment below, and I'll be responding to those messages as well. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next video.